Hello, this is Dr. Mac, and I would like to continue sermon preparation with part 2. So you have your sermon seed and you have your scripture. You begin to get your resources to be able to build the body of your sermon. You have your introduction that you're going to introduce your sermon. And then you have a very strong conclusion that will be very persuasive for others to respond, to take action where your message is concerned. Now you want to do an outline of your sermon. An outline of your sermon is critical because it helps you to remember every aspect of your sermon by not writing everything down. Now, I know we have manuscript sermons where you write every word down that you want to preach. But in a topical sermon, a sermon where you want to expound a topic, then the best approach is to outline your sermon. And an outline can give you a good idea as to where you're going in that sermon. Now, some people or some preachers, they use a 3-point outline. That's right, 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Take, for instance, let's say you're preaching on the scripture, Jesus wept, and you want to outline that sermon. You already have all of your material, and now you're looking for 3 points so that you can deliver the message that you want your listeners to hear. Now, when you look at the sermon, that scripture, Jesus wept, you can ask your question, why did Jesus weep? When did Jesus weep? And it can be what's the result of his weeping. So you have 3 points. When, why, and the results. Those are 3 points that you can follow that helps you to deliver the content of your message. Now, some preachers, they like to use some phrases all along to help other people understand and remember their sermon better. They like to use maybe the outline with all P's. Okay, let me give you another example. Like I'm preaching a sermon this week concerning Emmanuel. And I looked at the scripture in Matthew, and Emmanuel came from a prophetic verse in the book of Isaiah. So if I was going to outline this sermon and begin with P's, I would say, number 1, the prophetic word, all right, or a prophetic name. And that's 1 P. And then I can say the power of the name. And then the next one I can say the promise of the name. So you have the prophecy of the name, the power of the name, and the promise of the name. And people who listen to those 3 P's, it's easier for them to remember. Outline is very critical because it helps you to express in detail the message that you want to preach without memorizing every single word of the sermon. Some people are manuscripts because they cannot preach without writing everything down, and that's okay. But some other people are topical preachers where they preach from the topic or they expound. And this is what we call expository sermon, where they expound and using those 3 points. As you prepare as you preach. Remember, you have to have passion. You have to know your sermon better than anyone else. In fact, it's important that the message you preach first, affect your heart and your life. Preach to yourself first. Make the application to yourself, and then you will see how God can use that sermon. So as you prepare to preach, this is part 2 in sermon preparation. An outline is critical. Stay tuned for part 3, and may God bless you.